Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Leadership podcast. Money Radio, of course, is that program that brings to you the latest development in Nigeria's business and economic cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we're going to look at the growing digital economy sector of Nigeria amidst the dwindling fortunes of the country. It may interest you to know that as part of celebration to mark Digital Nigeria Day in Abuja, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Prof Isa Pantami, actually disclosed that Nigeria has made a tremendous impact in the digital economy sector as a result of the National Digital Economy Strategy of the country established in 2020 that will, of course, take the country to 2025. And so this particular policy has been the bedrock of the strides being recorded in the digital economy sector. It will also interest you to know that in terms of quarterly revenue generation to the country, the digital economy has, in fact, fetched the nation, pushed up the nation's revenue base from about 51 billion to 408.7 billion naira. That is on quarterly basis. And so it is a very giant step that this digital economy has made in terms of boosting the potential of the Nigerian people in this sector of Nigeria's life. And in fact, from between 2020 and now, Nigeria has also made a very significant progress in terms of the broadband penetration, which has shot up from 33% to about 44.5% as of today. So we are looking at how Nigeria, in fact, invested so much energy and resources in this all-important sector and is, in fact, reaping the benefits accruing to the nation in terms of job creation, in terms of digital investment, in terms of all you need to know about Nigeria's effort in trying to build this sector of its life. It also interests you to know that in this sector also, the ICT, that's the information and communication technology, had contributed immensely to the GDP of the country. In 2022, it is recorded that the ICT sector, in fact, led to contributed 18.44% to the nation's GDP, which is a very significant progress of this sector. So, why are we saying all this? The minister said that, and I quote, this played a critical role in enabling Nigeria to exit recession. Furthermore, the quarterly revenues also generated for federal government rose from 51.3 billion to 408.7 billion through spectrum sales, taxes, and from the sector. He said further that the government crashed data price from 1,200 naira per gigabyte to 350 naira following the implementation of the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. He also said that it's now easier for more Nigerians to connect to the internet. So we are, in fact, reaping a lot of benefits from Nigeria's digital economy, from the ICT sector component of the digital economy, and of course, the jobs that have been created has also made it possible for Nigeria to be reckoned with as the what they call startup headquarters of Africa. So Nigeria has the highest number of startup businesses in the continent, courtesy of this very important policy of Nigeria Digital Economy Policy and Strategy that was initiated by the Buhari government in 2020. Of course, it will last in 2025, probably before it will be reviewed. But right now, Lagos, the Nigerian commercial capital, is in fact the headquarters of startup businesses in Africa. And out of the 7 unicorn companies that have been recorded to have made success in Africa, 5 of them are Nigerian companies. And so Nigeria is in fact taking a lead at this digital economy sector and is making a very good strides in the international community in terms of its digital progress. Now, the minister also said that about 863,772 citizens benefited from digital skills programs while the federal government signed memorandum of understanding with leading global companies like Microsoft, Google, and Huawei to train more than 5 million Nigerians. So this is a bountiful field for Nigerian government and the Nigerian people in the way we are reaping the benefit of the digital sector. So what are even the challenges that we are facing now that the economy is not doing positively? This sector has actually been the most important in terms of the effort that we have made to exit recession. So the 18.44% that the ICT sector contributed to the GDP of the nation has been reckoned with as one of the most significant steps that was taken to ensure that Nigeria exits that recession that we were plunged into in 2020 as a result of the impact of the COVID-19. Now, there's another important development that Nigeria witnessed over the weekend. Last week, to be precise, on Thursday, President Muhammadu Buhari appended his signature to the National National Startup Bill. He signed it into law, and so it has now become National Startup Act. So, what is the significance of this act to the digital economy sector? It goes further to strengthen the enabling environment where Nigerians can now build their businesses. They have a more regulatory framework. They now have a more incentive. They are now being spurred to invest more as a result of government backing. Government can also attract foreign investors to help in cushioning some of the challenges that these startup businesses may experience in the course of trying to also boost their status in the sector. So the Nigerian Startup Act, in fact, is being praised as one of the best to have happened to the sector in recent times. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Isa Pantami, also praised that particular act. Yesterday at the digital conference in Abuja, where he told the very large audience that Nigeria would always lead Africa as a result of the fact that the legal instrument, the legal framework required to push this sector further has now been established, and everyone that is involved in this business now has the capacity, now has the legal backing, now has, in fact, the orientation that will be needed to push these businesses further will now be granted by the federal government, and the government will use some of its instruments also to attract investment to the sector. So it's going to be a win-win situation for the federal government, for the Nigerian startup business companies, the investors, as well as all stakeholders in this sector. So, but somehow the issue of venture capital that is also required to enable these businesses to thrive on their own seem to be some of the challenges, one of the challenges that to face this sector. But there's optimism that if this enabling act comes, of course, it will come into full force in due course. Some of those encumbrances that are being witnessed would have been addressed by this particular act, so that it will now open up the spaces and unlock the potential of the Nigerian startup businesses. Remember, in just a couple of days, there's a Nigerian delegation that went to the United Arab Emirates and participated in the global information technology competition, where the Nigerian people displayed enormous quality in the way they participated and came out back home with laurels to announce the presence of Nigeria in the international scene when it comes to digital economy and startup businesses. I think a Nigerian firm actually came third in some categories of the businesses that were recorded, and that is not a small feat for Nigeria in that sector. And also remember that just last week, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, also held what they call a Forum for Africa Research and Innovators. This Forum for African Research and Innovators is also one of the very great platforms that have been put in place to enable Nigerian researchers Nigerian inventors, Nigerian startup businesses to be able to seek opportunities using the community platform to grow their businesses and become very relevant in the world of digital economy today. Now, Nigerian firms participated in the startup competition that was set up for the ECOWAS startup companies, and a Nigerian firm came third out of all the by making investments and innovation of the time. So let me also quote what the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy said, that the drafting of the data protection bill also has reached an advanced stage. The digital identity enrollments have also been very successful, with issued a national identification number NIN rising from less than 40 million to over 90 million as of today. So you can see that even in the registration of a national identity number, the digital sector has actually helped in pushing up the numbers, and more Nigerians have now been to ensure that all over the world. I don't meet some of the challenges that we have. We know that it's not too much of a good time for Nigeria at this time because of the dwindling fortunes of resources. In the oil sector is not really friendly to the nation's economy now. So the digital sector might as well have taken a great chunk of what is supposed to be to give Nigeria the needed funding that will help her formulate some of its expenses for next year. It is on that note that we draw the curtains on today's edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. I remain Innocent Odo, and we promise to bring you a bumper edition of the program when next will come. Stay blessed and goodbye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.